Hello students, in this class we are going to discuss about the rate constant of nth order reaction and its half-life, and after that how to determine the order of a reaction by a experiment. Okay, now let's suppose consider a reaction. A reactant A gives a product. Okay, now the rate expression R is equal to K into A to the power n. What is the power here? N. The exponent of the concentration term, that is the n, which is referred as a order of a reaction. What is the order of a reaction? It is the sum of the powers of concentration terms of rate expression of a reaction. Okay, now let's suppose initially time taken t0, the reactant initial concentration will be a naught. At a certain time interval t, let's suppose x moles of reactant decomposes according to its stoichiometry 1. So the remaining moles of reactant will be a naught minus x. Now from the rate of a reaction, which is nothing but change in concentration of a reactant per unit time interval. Okay, so minus dA by dt, which is equal to dx by dt, and which is equal to k into a naught minus x to the power n, where k is called rate constant. K is called what? Rate constant of which order reaction? Nth order reaction. Nth order reaction. Okay, now here I am taking a naught minus x to the power n in the denominator. So here dx by dt is equal to k times of a naught minus x to the power n. I am taking dx by a naught minus x to the power n is equal to k times of the dt. Now what I am doing here, integrating on both sides. Integral dx by a naught minus x to the power n will be equal to integral k into dt. Now the limits of the x value from 0 to x and the time interval from 0 to t. After integration, you will get the final value, that is the k is equal to 1 by t into n minus 1 into 1 by a naught minus x to the power n minus 1 minus of 1 by a naught to the power n minus 1. Now here this is not valid for first order kinetics, because if the n value is 1, in the denominator there is a 1 by t into n minus 1. If the n value becomes 1, then it will become infinity. So it is not valid for first order kinetics. For first order kinetics, k equal to 1 by t ln concentration of reactant, initial concentration of reactant a naught divided by concentration of a reactant at a time interval t, that is a naught minus x. This is for first order and this is for nth order. This is for nth order reaction. Are you getting my point? Now here this can also written like this: k is equal to 1 by t into n minus 1 into 1 by concentration of reactant at a time interval at to the power n minus 1 minus of 1 by concentration of reactant initially a naught to the power n minus 1 to the power n minus 1. Okay, now after getting the rate constant expression for a nth order reaction, then the next one is the half-life period for the nth order reaction. Now here put the concentration of reactant at a time interval t, that will be a naught minus x will be equal to a naught by 2. That means 50% of reaction get completed. Then the time required is called half-life, t50, t1 by 2. So t50 will be equal to 1 by k into n minus 1. Now instead of a naught minus x, if you write the a naught by 2 to the power n minus 1. Okay, the 2 will be goes to numerator, so 2 to the power of n minus 1. So in the denominator, a naught minus x to the power n minus 1 common, so that is the LCM, a naught to the power n minus 1. So finally you will get, what you will get, t50 will be equal to 1 by k into n minus 1. Okay, 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 1 whole divided by initial concentration of reactant a naught to the power n minus 1. Are you getting my point? So this is a very important expression regarding the half-life period for a nth order reaction. Half-life period for a nth order reaction. Are you getting my point? So this is very important useful expression regarding the half-life of a nth order kinetics. Half-life of a nth order kinetics. Okay. Now here, if you carefully observe this relation between the T50 and initial concentration A0, if you see T50 will be in the numerator and initial concentration of reactant to the power n minus 1 will be in the denominator, and the rest of the k into n minus 1 constant, 2 to the power of n minus 1 minus 1 also constant. So shall I directly write the T50 inversely proportional to a to the power n minus 1, or directly proportional to a to the power 1 minus n, or a0 to the power 1 minus n? If you take the initial concentration as a, then a to the power n minus 1. Otherwise, a0 to the power n minus 1. Are you getting my point? What is the a0? A0 is nothing but initial concentration of reactant. This is very important. So this expression, that is a T50 inversely proportional to initial concentration to the power n minus 1, otherwise directly proportional to initial concentration to the power 1 minus n, where n is the order of the reaction. Let's suppose in case of a zero order kinetics, put the n value 0, so T50 will be equal to a0 by 2k. We completed in the zero order kinetics, half-life time a0 by 2k. Come to first order reaction. In case of a first order reaction, T50 will be equal to 0.693 by k. Whereas for a second order kinetics, put the n value 2 in this expression, you will get 1 by k into n minus 1. Instead of T50 here, we can directly write T50 is equal to 1 by k into n minus 1, 2 minus 1, nothing but 1. Okay, 2 to the power n minus 1, that is 2 minus 1, that will be 2 to the power 1 minus 1 whole divided by initial concentration A0 to the power n minus 1, 2 minus 1, that will be 1. So finally T50 will be equal to 1 upon k times of A0, that is A0. Are you getting my point? So this is the which order half-life expression? Second order kinetics half-life expression. If you want to solve for third order kinetics, you can bring the n value 3 in this expression. You will get the half-life for the third order kinetics, that is equal to 3 by 2k into a0 to the power 2. Are you getting my point? Now here, this is a one tabular form I am giving here. This is regarding the order of a reaction, rate law, expression and rate equation, half-life of the reaction equation, and the units for the rate constant. Okay, here the first one zero order. Okay, now dx by dt is equal to k0. Here 0 stands for zero order and k stands for rate constant. Okay, now the half-life period will be a by 2k. Half-life period will be what? A by 2k. And what are the units for the rate constant? Moles per liter per second. In similarly, for a first order kinetics, the rate constant expression k, here written k1, 1 stands for first order, 2.303 by t log of a by a minus x. Here a is called initial concentration. What is the a here? Initial concentration. Okay, now the T50, that is independent on the initial concentration of a reaction. This is corresponding to which order kinetics? First order kinetics. And what are the rate constant units for first order kinetics? Per second. Okay, per time inverse. And second order kinetics here is given. Okay, here second order kinetics k2 is equal to 1 by t into x by a into a minus x, and T50 inversely proportional to initial concentration of the reactant. Okay, and second order, there are two different types of second order. If the single reactant and two different reactants, single reactant concentration, okay, that will be a. If the two different reactions and each reactant initial concentration will be a comma b. Are you getting my point? So this will be the rate constant for second order kinetics, k2 equal to 2.303 by t into a minus b log of b into a minus x divided by a into b minus x. Here also T50 inversely proportional to initial concentration, and both rate constant units are mole inverse, liter, second inverse. Okay, now come to third order, that will be the third order kinetics. Here I am writing the K3 here, K3, okay, 1 by 2t 1 by a minus x whole square minus 1 by a square. Are you getting my point? Now the T50 inversely proportional to square of the initial concentration, inversely proportional to square of the initial concentration. Now here for a general nth order reaction, just we derive this expression. Here I am writing Kn, this is the nth order kinetics rate expression, rate constant expression, that is equal to 1 by t into n minus 1 into 1 by a naught minus x, otherwise a minus x to the power n minus 1 minus of 1 by a to the power n minus 1, and half life is inversely proportional to initial concentration to the power n minus 1, initial concentration to the power what, n minus 1. Okay, now come to the next topic, experimental determination of order of a reaction. Order is a purely experimental quantity. Okay, so according to the experiment only we have to determine the order of a reaction. Okay, now here there are different types of methods to evaluate, to determine, to calculate the order of a reaction. Okay, order of a reaction is experimental quantity. Once again I am repeating, order of a reaction is experimental quantity. Now here let's suppose order for elementary reactions. Suppose if in the question elementary, otherwise simple reaction is given, then directly order will be equal to stoichiometry of reactants. Stoichiometry of a reactant will be the order of a reaction. Suppose in the question, suppose 3A gives product is given in the question. Okay, now here it is a elementary reaction. Which reaction? Elementary reaction. Then immediately we can say what is the order of a reaction is equal to 3, because the stoichiometry will be corresponding to the order of reaction. Remember, only in case of elementary reaction or simple reaction. Are you getting my point? This is very important. If in the question it is not mentioned, then we should not consider the stoichiometry coefficient. Only we have to consider the stoichiometry coefficient of reactant as a order in elementary reactions or a one step reaction or a simple reaction. Okay, now how to determine the order of a reaction by experiment. Okay, there are different types of methods are there. Number 1, initial rate method. Number 2, integrated rate law method, otherwise hit and trial method. Number 3, graphical method. Number 4, half-life method. Number 5, Ostwald isolation method. Okay, let's see number 1, which method? Initial rate law method. In this initial rate law method, what happens? The initial rate of a reaction for various initial concentration of reactants will be given in the problem with different experiments by which we can find the order of a reaction. Let's suppose one question is given here. For a reaction A plus B gives C plus D. Following experiment observations are made at constant temperature. So there are 5 experiments are done here, and in each experiment the initial concentration of reactant A is given and B is given, and initial rate of formation of D is given. Okay, now the question is find the rate law expression, number 1, number 2 rate constant, and number 3 fill in the above blanks. Here there are 2 blanks are given here, we have to fill these blanks. Okay, first of all, these type of questions already we covered in the topic of order of reaction. Okay, now here let's suppose the reaction is given A plus B gives what? C plus D. Okay, now what I am doing, I am writing a rate expression, that is R is equal to K into A to the power X into B to the power Y. Are you getting my point? Now one more important thing in this question, initial rate of formation of D given. Do you know rate of reaction is equal to minus dA by dt, which is equal to minus of dP by dt, which is equal to plus dC by dt, which is equal to plus dt by dt. Here all the stoichiometry coefficients will be 1. So in the denominator there should be 1, but here we should not write the 1 in the denominator. Are you getting my point? Now the rate of formation of D, that will be plus dt by dt is given as a is given in each experiment, okay, which is nothing but indirectly rate of a reaction. Now first of all, what I am doing here, what is the first rate of formation of D given? 2 into 10 raised to minus 3, which is equal to K times of concentration of reactant A will be in the experiment 1, 0.1 molar to the power X, and B concentration 0.1 to the molar, 0.1 molar to the power Y. Equation number 1. In second experiment, what is the rate of formation of D given? 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 is equal to K times of the, in the experiment 2, what is the concentration of A? 0.2. And what is the concentration of B? That will be 0.1. Are you getting my point? This is the equation number 2. And in the third experiment, what is the rate of formation of D? Again 4 into 10 raised to minus 3, which is equal to K times of what is the concentration of A in the third experiment? 0.2, and B is also 0.2. So 0.2 to the power X and 0.2 to the power Y. Equation number 3. If you see 1 divided by 2, from the left side you will get 1 by 2. From the right side kk gets cancelled. 0.1 by 0.2 to the power x shall write 1 by 2 to the power x. 0.1 to the power y, 0.1 to the power y gets cancelled. So bases are equal, powers must be equal. So x value equal to 1. Similarly, what I am doing, 1 divided by 3. Equation 1 left side 2 into 10 to power minus 3. Equation 3 4 into 10 to power minus 3. So again you will get 1 by 2. On the right side kk will be gets cancelled. 1 by 2 to the power x will be present, and 1 by 2 to the power y is also present. Here 1 by 2 to the power 1 equal to 1 by 2 to the power of x plus y. So bases are equal, powers must be equal. So x plus y equal to what? 1. So this is the equation number 2. So 2 unknown, 2 equations we can solve. So from here x value 1 and y value 0. That means order with respect to reactant A will be first order, and with respect to reactant B will be 0 order. So rate law expression will be K times of the concentration of A to the power 1 and concentration of B to the power 0. Concentration of B to the power 0. So this is the first question. Are you getting my point? Now here, what will be the second question? Rate constant. Now you bring if you put the x value, y value in any one of the 3 equations, you will get the k value. Let's suppose from equation 1, from first equation, what is the first equation? 2 into 10 raised to minus 3, which is equal to k times of the 0.1 molar to the power x, that will be 1, and 0.1 molar to the power 0. So from here k value directly I am writing 2 into 10 raised to minus 2, which is called rate constant. Now come to the one more problem, fill in the blanks. Now in the experiment 4, I am writing r is equal to k into a to the power 1 into b to the power 0. In the experiment 4, what is the rate of formation of D that is to be calculated, and concentration of A given 0.3 and B given 0.2. So bring the 0.3 and 0.2 in this expression. So you can write the R value. R value is equal to K value, already we know 2 into 10 raised to minus 2, and what is the concentration of reactant A given 0.3 to the power 1. So need not to write the concentration of B, because the power of the concentration of the B will be 0, any to the power 0, nothing but 1. So after simplification you will get the rate of formation of D, that will be 6 into 10 raised to minus 3. Are you getting my point? Moles per liter. What is the time interval here given? Minute. Moles per liter per minute. Are you getting my point? And one more fill in the blank is there, that will be in the experiment 5. In the experiment 5, we have to find the concentration of reactant A, and what is the formation of D given? 8 into 10 raised to minus 3. So here once again I am writing R is equal to K into A to the power 1 into B to the power 0. Okay. In the experiment 5, the concentration A value given 0.4 or 0.2. Just wait. The rate of a reaction is given 8 into 10 raised to minus 3. The rate of formation of D given 8 into 10 raised to minus 3. Okay. So 8 into 10 raised to minus 3 equal to K value 2 into 10 raised to minus 2. What is the concentration of reactant A to be calculated and concentration of B given 0.3 to the power 0. So from here the concentration of reactant A will be equal to 0.4 molar. 0.4 molar. So from here shall I write the 0.4 molar here? Here the answer will be 0.4 molar. Okay. Now here from experiment 4 we can write the rate of a reaction, that is the formation of D, 6 into 10 raised to minus 3. 6 into 10 raised to minus 3. Are you getting my point? 6 into 10 raised to minus 3. Now come to the next question, next concept, that is the experimental method, that is the integrated rate law method or hit and trial method. Hit and trial method. Now in this hit and trial or integrated rate law method, initially let's suppose a reactant A gives a product. Okay. Now the initial concentration of reactant will be C0 at a time interval T1 C1, at a time interval T2 C2, at a time interval T3 C3, and so on. Are you getting my point? In a different time of intervals, the concentration of a reactant is measured with a suitable methods. Okay. Now, after getting the concentration of reactant at a different time of intervals and initial concentration, then we have to check the rate constant value. Okay. Let's suppose assume the above reaction is a zero order kinetics. Now from the zero order kinetics, what is the concentration of reactant at a certain time interval T? AT will be is equal to concentration of reactant A0 minus of KT. Okay. From here, what is the K value? K value equal to concentration of reactant initial minus of concentration of reactant at a time interval T whole divided by time taken. Okay. Now if you calculate the K value at least 2 times, if the K value become same at least 2 times, minimum 2 times, if the K value remains same, then the reaction follows particularly zero order kinetics. If the K value is not remaining same at least 2 times, then go for check first order kinetics. What is the first order rate constant expression? K is equal to 1 by T ln A0 by A0 minus X. A0 nothing but initial concentration C0, A0 minus X nothing but concentration of reactant at a time interval T, that is the CT. So if you bring the given information and calculate the K value, if you get the K value at least 2 times same, then the reaction follows particular first order kinetics. Otherwise, if the K value do not get same value 2 times, then go for the next order kinetics, that will be the second order kinetics. This is called hit and trial method. In second order kinetics, which is rate constant value K is equal to 1 by T into concentration of 1 by T into 1 by concentration of reactant at a time interval T minus 1 by concentration of reactant initially. It is also written as a K is equal to 1 by T into 1 by A0 minus X minus 1 by A0. A0 minus X concentration of reactant at a time interval T and A0 initial concentration. If you substitute the A0 and A0 minus X values, so at least you will get the K value 2 times same, then the reaction follows second order kinetics. If it is not following the second order, and go for verification of third order. Okay. What is the third order rate constant expression? K is equal to 1 by 2T 1 by A0 minus X whole square minus of 1 by A0 square. Now in this expression, A0 value and A0 minus X value at a particular time of interval, if you replace, then you will get the K value at least 2 times. If the K value remains same, then the reaction follows third order kinetics. This is called what? Hit and trial method. Hit and trial method. So in most of the cases you will find whether zero order reaction or first order reaction. In very rare cases you will find second order, third order. Okay. Now come to the graphical method. In this method, a graph is plotted between the concentration of a reactant on the y-axis and the time interval on the x-axis. From the nature of the graph, it is easy to identify the order of a reaction. First of all, a graph given rate versus concentration of different order of reactions. Okay, now rate of reaction is equal to K times of concentration to the power what? N. Okay, now here rate is constant irrespective of the concentration, that is the straight line parallel to x-axis, that is zero order kinetics. Now the rate of a reaction R is equal to K times of A to the power 1. This is in the form of Y is equal to mx, first order kinetics. Now rate is equal to K into concentration of A to the power 2. It is also in the form of Y is equal to mx, because on the x-axis you are taking the square of the concentration. Okay, and for third order reaction R is equal to K times of the A cube. It is also in the form of Y is equal to mx, because on the x-axis we are taking the cube of the concentration. Okay, now the second graph is given between the concentration versus different time of intervals. Okay, the first graph, if you observe, concentration of reactant versus time interval t, there is a straight line with negative slope. Straight line with which slope? Negative slope. From this nature we can conclude the given reaction is which order kinetics? Zero order kinetics. Okay, now come to, if the concentration of reactant at a time interval t, that will be, in general we use concentration of reactant at a time interval t a naught minus x, the logarithm of a naught minus x on the y-axis, or simply you can take log of concentration of reactant at a time interval t on y-axis and time interval on the x-axis. There will be a straight line with a negative slope here also, it corresponding to first order kinetics, and the slope will be equal to minus k divided by 2.303. And similarly 1 by concentration of reactant at a time interval t on the y-axis and time taken on the x-axis, you will get a y is equal to mx plus c straight line. Okay, this is second order. And here also if you see 1 by concentration of reactant whole square on the y-axis and time interval on the x-axis, again you will get a straight line which is equal to, in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. So this is a third order reaction. Okay, now we know in the first order kinetics the concentration of reactant at a certain time interval at will be equal to minus kt plus initial concentration of a reactant. Are you getting my point? So this is corresponding to which order kinetics? It is corresponding to which order kinetics? Zero order kinetics. Are you getting my point? This is in the form of y is equal to minus mx plus c. This is corresponding to first graph. This is the first graph. Are you getting my point? This is a zero order kinetics. Now come to, for a first order kinetics, log of at will be equal to, that is nothing but concentration of reactant at a certain time interval. It is also written as a log of a naught minus x will be equal to minus kt divided by 2.303 plus log of initial concentration. It is also in the form of y is equal to minus mx plus c. The slope will be minus k by 2.303, where I written here minus k by 2.303. Are you getting my point? Come to the second order kinetics, that is 1 by concentration of reactant will be equal to, at a time interval t will be equal to kt plus 1 by concentration of reactant initial. So it is also in the form of which form? Y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. What will be the slope here? K. And what will be the intercept here? 1 by a naught. That is the 1 by initial concentration of the reactant. Are you getting my point? Now come to third order kinetics. 1 by concentration of reactant at a time interval t whole square will be equal to 2 times of the kt plus 1 by concentration of a reactant whole square. It is also in the form of y is equal to mx plus c, where the slope will be 2 times of the k. Okay, now here one question is given. 2a gives product. A graph is plotted between the concentration of reactant on y-axis and time interval on the x-axis. Give a straight line with a negative slope. The question is given what? The concentration of a reactant taken on the y-axis and time interval taken on the x-axis. Concentration of reactant at any time interval taken on the y-axis, and it is a function of time interval on the x-axis. So the what is saying here, there will be a straight line with a negative slope. There will be a straight line with a negative slope. Do you know concentration of reactant at a time interval t equal to minus k times of the t plus concentration of reactant at time interval t0? Do you know this is in the form of minus y is equal to minus mx plus c? Do you know this is corresponding to which order kinetics? Zero order kinetics. This is corresponding to which order kinetics? Zero order kinetics. So that's why this is very important. That is option number C. So by giving the information, that is the information that is on y-axis, on x-axis, which parameters are taking and what is the nature of the straight line given. Once we know the parameters on y-axis and x-axis and the nature of the straight line, immediately we can predict the order of the reaction. Yes or no? Now come to the fourth method, that is called half-life method. Now we know in the nth order kinetics, I told you half-life is inversely proportional to initial concentration to the power n minus 1 or directly proportional to concentration to the power 1 minus n. Let's suppose we have two half-lives. Let's suppose we have two half-life. This is the first half-life and this will be the second half-life. Okay. Now it is inversely proportional to initial concentration. Let's suppose initial concentration A1 and initial concentration A2. Two different initial concentrations according to which two different half-lives. And the relation between half-life and initial concentration of reactant, that will be T50 inversely proportional to initial concentration to the power n minus 1. So this is a very important relation regarding the two different half-lives with two different initial concentration. If you apply the logarithm on both sides and if you simplify this, you can find the n value. What is the n here? Order of the reaction. What is the n here? Order of the reaction. Are you getting my point? Now here, if you carefully observe, there are different types of order of reactions and their graphical representation of half-life versus initial concentration. In case of zero order kinetics, do you know what is the half-life for zero order kinetics? Half-life for zero order kinetics, here I given the formula. Half-life for zero order kinetics, which is nothing but A0 by 2k, and for first order T50 will be equal to 0.693 by k. For second order T50 1 by k into A0. For a third order T50 is equal to 1 by 3k A0 square. Are you getting my point? Now here if you see in the first graph, what is the half-life for zero order kinetics? T50 is equal to A0 by 2 times of the k. Here I am taking the A. Okay. Now if you see, this is a y is equal to mx straight line. Y is equal to mx straight line and the slope of the straight line will be, here the slope will be, what is the slope here? 1 by 2k. For a first order kinetics, what is the half-life expression T50? That is nothing but 0.693 by k. That means for a half-life reaction, for a first order kinetics, the half-life of a reaction is independent on the initial concentration. That's why you have a straight line. That is parallel to the x-axis. Are you getting my point? By seeing the half-life graph representation, we can easily predict the order of the reaction. In case of a second order reaction, what is the T50? T50 will be equal to 1 by k times of initial concentration. Now on the x-axis, if you see 1 by a, that is nothing but a to the power minus 1. Are you getting my point? This is 1 by a or 1 by a0, we can take initial concentration. There is a straight line that is passing through origin. This is in the form of y is equal to mx. And what will be the slope of a straight line here? 1 upon k. And similarly, if you see third order reaction, that is the T50 versus 1 by a square. So it is also in the form of y is equal to mx. Are you getting my point? So this is a very important graphical representation of half-life versus initial concentration. Are you getting my point? Now here one important question is given. Question number 90. Half-life period for a reaction at the initial concentration of 0.1 molar and 0.01 molar respectively 5 and 50 minutes. That means here, what is the initial concentration A1? What is the initial concentration A1 here given? Nothing but 0.1 molar. At that initial concentration 0.1 molar, what is the half-life here? What is the half-life here? 5 minutes. And next one, what is the next initial concentration is given? 0.01 molar, according to which half-life will be 50 minutes given in the question. Now the question is find the order of the reaction. Just now I told you T50 is inversely proportional to initial concentration to the power n minus 1. Yes or no? Yes. Now from here T1 by 2 first half-life, T1 by 2 second half-life is equal to second initial concentration by first initial concentration to the power, shall I write n minus 1? Yes. Where n is called what? Where n is called what? Order. T50 half-life. Half-life period. What is the A? Nothing but initial concentration of reactant. Now tell me what is the first half-life given? 5 minutes. What is the second time half-life given? 50 minutes. What is the second time initial concentration? 0.01 molar. First time initial concentration 0.1 molar to the power what? N minus 1. Okay. So this will be 1 by 10. Here you will get to 0.01 by 0.1, that is 0.1. So 1 by 10, 0.1, nothing but 1 by 10, nothing but 0.1 to the power n minus 1. Now here also bases are equal, powers must be equal. So the n value is 2. That means this is a second order kinetics. What is the order of the reaction here? Second order kinetics. With the help of half-life period, we have to do different initial concentrations. If two different initial concentration, if the half-life periods are provided, then we can easily identify order of the reaction. So this is corresponding to which order kinetics? Second order kinetics. Are you getting my point? And last one more method is there, that is called Ostwald's isolation method. In this Ostwald's isolation method, it is very useful to determine the order with respect to each reactant when the remaining other reactants are taken in the excess amount. Let's suppose we have one reaction A plus B plus C, which is equal to some products. Okay. Now actually we can write the rate expression R is equal to K times of concentration of A to the power X, concentration of B to the power Y, and concentration of C to the power Z. Now what is the order with respect to A? X. X with respect to B, Y. With respect to C, Z. Now we have to find the sum of X plus Y plus Z, that is the overall order of the reaction. Now in this case what we have to take? We have to take the remaining two reactants in excess quantity. Let B, C are in excess amount. Reactant B, C are excess amount. Now whenever the reactant will be in excess quantity, with respect to that reactant, the rate of reaction do not changes, because in large quantity, in excess quantity, if any reactant is present, if you change small concentration of that reactant, that will be no effect on the concentration of the reactant. That will be no effect on the rate of the reaction. Once again I am repeating, if any reactant will be taken in the excess amount, by changing that reactant concentration, there will be no effect on the rate of the reaction. Now when we are taking B and C in excess quantity, with respect to B and C, we should not consider the effect of change of concentration of B, C on the rate of the reaction. So whatever the rate we are obtaining, that is corresponding to only concentration of reactant A. So from here we can find the X value. Yes. In the similar manner, if you bring the A and C in excess quantity, suppose reactant A and reactant C are taken in excess quantity, with respect to that reactants, changing the concentration of that reactant, rate do not affect. So that's why I am writing whatever the rate of reaction, that will be equal to K times of the concentration of the B to the power Y. And one more, now in the third case, take the A and B in excess. If A and B will be taken in the excess amount, By changing the concentration of A and B, the rate of reaction do not affect. That's why whatever the rate we are calculating, that is corresponding to only concentration of D. So that's why rate is equal to K into concentration to the power not D, here C, because the third reactant will be the C. So here in this case we are calculating order with respect to A is equal to X. In this case we can calculate order with respect to B is equal to Y. In this case we can calculate order with respect to C is equal to Z. So finally we can calculate overall order is equal to X plus Y plus Z. This is called what? Ostwald isolation method. This is called what? Ostwald's isolation method. In this method, more than one reactants are present, out of which only one reactant will be taken in the small quantity and the remaining reactants will be taken in the excess quantity with respect to that reactants which are taken in the excess quantity. So the concentration of that reactants which are taken in the excess quantity, they do not affect the rate of the reaction. Okay.
I don't care unless you got you, baby.